thought I would get someone with that comment. Uh, but welcome to the spring, I mean, welcome to the assembly, the fall assembly. Everything is going well. We have excellent speakers and very informative speakers, so you are guaranteed to be informed today. I have on the agenda approval oh, by the way, I think everyone knows me. I'm Vivian Davis, and Mary Slater was the past president, and she my arm, but this has been fun, and I enjoy doing this, and until things don't go right and the website isn't updated and things like that. So, but thank you. We have just some notes, minutes from draft minutes of the spring assembly, which was held on April 10th, 2025, and they were taken by Dale Kennedy, our secretary. And I'm just going to read through these. I didn't print them out to save paper, but it just gives you an idea of what we did in April. Dale Kennedy read the minutes from the previous annual meeting. Jim Seidel gave the treasurer's report, and this is basically the same format that we are going to do today. Doug White gave a report from the curriculum committee on the 4 classes being offered in the spring of 2025. 3 of the courses offered this May will be given by new instructors to AALL. We're always trying to increase our base in terms of bringing new people on. Vivian Davis, president, made several announcements regarding a program at the high school, including a pilot project for transportation with Calhoun County Transportation Authority, the cleanup, the board vacancies, and people are welcome to join the board, express interest, just let us know. We will always bring on new people and new ideas. And the assembly, of course, announcement for today. And if anyone is getting email about AALL, please give your information to B. Robinson. B. Robinson, Beatrice Robinson, who is out front at the table, is our new registrar, and she has taken the place of Mary Dietrich. AALL continues to work with Dr. Vicki Baker on the AALL website. Jim Seidel spoke about the river cleanup, which was a great success, and he's going to talk more about that if he wishes. This event is co-sponsored by Rotary, White House Nature Center, Boy Scouts, and Albion Community Foundation. And Jim, you're welcome to talk about that and say thank you to the community. The business portion of the meeting ended at 10:20. Then Vivian Davis introduced Dick Lewin, who introduced Brian Lewin, who gave the assembly presentation on nuclear power technology. And the assembly ended at 11:54. Those were the minutes, and I think the procedure is to adopt the minutes. So if we can have someone move and second. Okay, it has been moved by Isabel Nazareth and seconded by Sue Farley to adopt the minutes as presented, and they will be put in the big binder that I received for AALL materials. Okay, we're going to start this morning with money matters. So we're going to ask Jim Seidel to come and share with you how we stand financially. Thank you. And today we have the microphone in the center, so as you're speaking or making announcements, you will be live streamed, and rather than trying to talk from your seats, we're asking you to come here. Thank you.
Let's see how well this works. Okay. Currently, AALL has $7,197.09 to its name. That breaks down to $2,946.10 at Homestead Bank in our checking account and $4,250.99 in CDs at Edward Jones. Our income and expenses for the year, we took income of $1,700.45. That's $585 in membership, and class revenue was $1,160. Our expenses were $2,408.93, $120 for the post office box where you mail stuff to. Our printing cost was $217. Miscellaneous was $281.93. Honorariums was $1,100. Our assembly speakers were $200, and the room rental was $490. That was for the movies. We have to pay $10 for every person who attends the movies. Plus, we had our last assembly at the Bohm because of the fact that the college was so busy that day, there was no place to park. So we had to pay a cost for that. Any question about the costs? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. For the president comments, just want to thank our collaborators, class locations at the Forks Senior Center. We don't have a class there this semester, but last semester we did, and it went very well. Dr. Vicki Baker's AC3 class, we're working with them. We met with them, as well as Cassidy Porter is going to work with us regarding getting the message out in a timely manner. We want to say thank you. EDC has come on board with Bruce Nelson, and he has another channel of getting our information out as well as receiving information. And we're enhancing the relationship with NAACP. I gave messages and I sent information at the executive board's meeting, so hopefully we can bring on more members. And as we've said previously, we are streaming the General Assembly, as well as maybe we can get one of the fall classes streamed. I was just looking down the list, maybe American Discontents, maybe something because it's being taught by a college professor, and it's right here on campus, and they have the capability, so we don't have to worry about getting that. That may be one of them. Also on the agenda, I have the good news regarding websites. Contact the registrar, and as you know, we have a new registrar with B. Robinson, and visit the membership and registration page that has been revised. Did anyone go on this morning or yesterday? It has been revised, so you should be able to get updated information as well as register for classes online. I guess you would register and print your registration out and then send it to B. And on demand at Facebook, I have this information in terms of people who are watching. They probably have found it by now. Albion FUMC. It's not Facebook. It's on YouTube. Ignore Facebook. It's on YouTube. Okay. But at least it's there and people can see from their homes. I'd like to say thank you to the curriculum committee led by Doug, and Doug isn't here today, Doug White. But in terms of the journey to Albion, that is going to be very interesting. We have Sue and Dave Farley are here, Barb Lane, Bobby Wall, are going to, and Sarah Steinhauer. Sarah, would you all like to say anything about your class or introduce yourself? Sure.
So this is a little advertisement from the curriculum committee, actually, because I've been on it for a year now, so I'm understanding the difficulty of finding classes, finding people to participate. And so when I joined the curriculum committee, I had two objectives, or two things I could bring to it. What do I know that I can share, and what do I want to know? Okay? And so if you have any of those feelings yourself, please contact me or Doug White or somebody to talk about it. So this one happened because I've done my genealogy. And so I wanted to share it. I've shared it with my family, but I spent a lot of time working on it. And it is the story of the founding of this country, which all of my ancestors were here before the Revolutionary War. That means Jamestown. That means in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania was where they came in. I'm looking for somebody, if we ever want to do this again, who came in through New England with the Salem and the whole thing that happened, the Puritan experience in the North, which I have a couple of leads on, but I don't know who they haven't agreed to do it yet. So I'm going to start with that one, and then we're going to have the Farleys come, because they were one of the earliest settlers in this city, in this area, which is amazing stories. And then we're going to have Barb Lang's going to tell the story of the Dean family, which has a deep connection with Albion College and the community going back into the 1800s. And then Bob Wall is going to talk about the arrival of the black community. Apparently there were two major times. One was in the 1800s and then one in the early 1900s. So that's what's happening. And so if you come to this and you're interested in it, we're going to hopefully have some time. Not every presentation will be 2 hours, so we're going to try to do a little bit of an introduction to doing your own genealogy. And it hasn't quite all been worked out yet, but at least tell you a little bit about how to get onto Ancestry Plus and to begin your process if you're interested in doing it. So the other thing I wanted to mention, and this is for the next series, is I also seem to now be in charge of Travelog because I take a lot of pictures, so I like to share them. So you get in charge. So I have 2 people now who are signed up to do the Travelog, but I need 2 more in order to make it to go. It doesn't have to be anything recent. It doesn't have to be yours. It could be friends. If you've got a friend that say, oh, I just got to show you the pictures of my trip, ask them to come and share it. They don't have to be senior students. They don't have to be an AALL. But we just would like to find 2 more people who would like to share their story. And it doesn't have to be for 2 hours. It can be whatever length it takes you to do whatever, to share your pictures. And I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to share information about their class? I see a couple of the other instructors. Okay, all of them are very good, and I hope to get to at least 1 session of each of them. Okay, now we're going to have Jenny Garrison to talk about places you can go and things you can see.
I'm going to see who has more muscle, Jenny or Sarah. Here we go. Okay, well, Albion Area Lifelong Learning is obviously focused on education, but it does have a social element because we like to play a little bit too. So we're keeping our activities this fall local. We have 2. Traditionally, we go to opening night of one of Albion College plays, and this year we have decided we're going to go to Our Town, which is a 3-act play by Thornton Wilder, set in the fictional town of Grover's Corners, New Hampshire, between 1901 and 1913. The play explores themes of life, love, and death, emphasizing the importance of everyday moments. It features a stage manager who narrates and interacts with the characters. Some of you have sheets. I'm remembering this is November 13th. Is that correct? One of you look at your sheets? Okay. There is an option. The play's at 7:30. There is an option of dinner at Galazio's at 6 o'clock. I have contacted Galazio's and told them 12 to 15 people. That seems to be the average. There is a sign-up sheet out there in the lobby. If you know you're coming to Galazio's, that's the only thing you have to make a reservation for. Please fill it out, or I have an email I don't know if I put my email on that. That could be a problem. Did I put it on there? Oh, bless me. Okay. Our second activity that I'm going to talk about is actually the one coming up the soonest. Our AAL classes are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so we have a little field trip on Friday, September 26th. This is also local. We are going to MB Farm. It is a local farm. You just go out Erie Road east. It is a local farm that offers all-natural, preservative-free jams and salsas. They offer you-pick fresh flowers, sometimes baked goods and produce. They have take-and-bakes, pot pies, other items for a quick dinner. Marlene Plasman highly recommends the cuisine. She's had it. So I was there earlier in the week. There's also some beautiful pottery. It doesn't look like much from the road, but then you drive back and back and back and back, and there are fields of fresh flowers, etc., etc. So you might want to bring a little money with you in case you'd like to purchase something. Again, this is you travel there on your own. There's no sign up. We don't need to know how many are coming. So we'll hope for good weather. The proprietor out there tells me that the big frost is not coming till the next week. She must keep pretty good track of that. So there should still be a lot of flowers in bloom. And that's it. Any questions? What was that date again? Oh, for the farm, Friday, September 26th. Okay.
Okay, well, thank you. I haven't gone to the farm, but I've gone to the to the play and dinner, so that is always fun on a social level with our members. Okay, now we're going to do introductions. We would like to say thank you for having our city leaders with us today, and they are going to share information about what is going on in the city, and you will have the opportunity to ask questions. You have their undivided attention, so take advantage of it. You don't have to call, you don't have to email, but you have their undivided attention, so that will be good. We have Mr. Doug Terry, who is the interim city manager, and as you know, have done a wonderful job in our community. He comes here with a lot of experience and practical knowledge in terms of what it takes to run a city. So brought new ideas and innovative thinking and is willing to listen. Doug is going to give you more about himself, but we're going to introduce him. But the other people that are here, we have Jason Kern, and Jason has worked in the city for 27 years, with the last 26 and a half years with public safety. So you remember him as a police officer with the gun and all of that. But now he's taken all of that and has shedded some of that equipment. Jason was promoted to narcotics detective for public safety in 2010, then promoted to detective sergeant in 2014. During this time at Public Safety, Jason was a member of the Special Response Team, the SWAT team, where he was an explosive breacher and hostage negotiator for 16 years. Jason was promoted to deputy chief in December 2016. In January 2024, Jason was promoted, but not only deputy chief, but deputy director of public services as well. He stayed in both roles until his official retirement in May 2025. Jason was then appointed director of public, where he serves presently. People don't retire and take on a position, but he's a unique individual, and we want to say welcome to Jason as well. And the other young man is, and I can say that because everyone is younger than me, no offense, sent to me a brief history. He was born and raised in Albion. graduated in 2001 from Albion Senior High School, and I remember him as a high school student, an excellent student, by the way. Right? Karen, this is Karen's nephew. Okay. Graduated from Ferry State University in 2007 with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. He worked at Albion College Public Campus Safety, the Calhoun County Juvenile Home, and the Federal Center in Battle Creek as a contracted teacher for Homeland Security before being hired by ADPS in 2006 Chief of Public Safety in February of 2025. And we would like to welcome him and say congratulations to Aaron Phelps. Gentlemen, will you please come forward? Thank you.
Good morning. Again, my name is Doug Terry. I'm the interim city manager for the city of Albion. To give you a little bit of background, I retired from the city of Litchfield approximately 4 years ago, and at the age of 64, and after a year of retirement, I became bored. And I was about ready to go to Henry Ford Hospital and push gurneys, and all of a sudden there's a need for interim city managers. So I went back to Litchfield, then I went to Charlotte, went to Portland, Michigan, and now in Albion since November of last year. Usually when I get called, I have a reputation of taking on cities that have problems, cities that have found themselves in a very stressful situation, and so I try to, similar to my dad, clean up messes. Well, when I came to Albion, that was not the case. It was very refreshing to work in an atmosphere full of talent. And I have an eye for talent, and as such, I recognize some of the talent, and these two gentlemen here represent that talent that we had in-house. This was not to take the Lord's name in vain, it was a godsend to be able to surround myself with talented people. And so we all enjoy a great working relationship. Everybody knows what our titles are, we know what our job descriptions are, but the one unique thing that we all share is the ability to not let our titles or our egos get in the way. We allow ourselves to talk to one another. That is very effective. And I believe that's the secret of getting things done. You know, as I have told council in this day, and unfortunately what we saw yesterday, we live in somewhat of a world of political discourse. We've somewhat have lost our civics, our civility toward one another. And I believe that these gentlemen, along with other city staff members, have and enjoy that philosophy I have: respect, restraint, and reverence. I believe that those 3 R's are critical in serving you as a city employee to give you the services that you deserve. Right now, and Jason will get into the details, we have 51 miles of streets. Those streets also serve as our utility corridors. Because of the talent that city has, City Council recognized that we needed to make improvements to our infrastructure. And as Jason will tell you, that some of our antiquated utilities need to be replaced. City Council went out on the limb and they authorized the borrowing of approximately $27 million for infrastructure improvements. And that's why, and I know that you get frustrated with street closures and everything, that the inconvenience, but it will pay off. We have, again, 51 miles of streets, and we use those streets as the right-of-ways as our utility corridors, and so we're replacing the water and sewer. And I'll let Jason explain a little bit about that in detail. But one of the things that you need to know is that we're a $34 million operation. We have approximately 70 employees, which is normal for a municipality. Usually about 1% of a population is you have representing you in your workforce, serving you. So again, Albion has a population of about 7,000, a little bit more than that. But so we have about 70 employees here. One of the reasons why Jason and Aaron are with me today is they share in a philosophy that I think is needed. For example, Aaron is a big believer in community policing. You know, we show restraint, we show de-escalation, and more important, what I really respect about Aaron is that he demonstrates kindness. And I believe that that is a critical element when we're dealing with a population of diversity. We need to show people of all economic walks of life that kindness that we all deserve and expect. So it is a pleasure meeting with you today, and we're going to try to answer questions as we're up here. I want to let Jason first tell you about what we're going through and what we're doing and where we hope to be at in the next year. We have a long ways to go yet. We're sorry about the inconvenience. Get used to it. We are not stopping. We have great momentum going. We have a critical function we have to fulfill, and that is protecting your environment. And the way that we have to do that is by replacing and improving our infrastructure. Clean water and being able to discharge our sanitary sewer in an efficient manner in compliance with EPA and DNR rules. So we think that. So Jason, why don't you first explain where we're at with equipment, explain where we're at with our projects, and where you expect the city to be in a couple of years, and then we'll let Aaron.
Good morning, everybody. Doug rehearsed that quite a bit the entire way here, saying everything. It's mainly when we come into his office, there's a lot of eye rolls. He's gotten very good at grabbing his chest and everything a couple times, so he's getting better, though, getting better. Thank you for having us today. I'm sure you all have a lot of questions. I don't know if you noticed, we have a couple of construction sites going on, just a few in town. So feel free to ask me questions on anything. The City Council has been phenomenal. They have reinvested heavily back into public works. For everyone that's been here for a while, you saw before the city always had kind of some tattered trucks, not the best uniforms. If you've noticed, we look good. The guys have been performing well. We have a phenomenal group of employees at Public Works. The best I've ever seen it in my time. I've always been on the other side of the house looking over, but I can tell you they are a pleasure to work with every day, and they have their heart into it. We're not perfect, but they are top-notch. I couldn't ask for a better group of employees to work with. So last year alone, the city invested about $1.5 million-ish back into Public Works alone. We sold off a bunch of old equipment, put that back into the equipment pool, and now we actually have a rotation basis. So we can take our equipment, not only have good maintenance programs, but we can turn around and sell them and put that money towards the next piece of equipment instead of running it till the wheels came off. So with that, we've got a ton of different things going. We have a wastewater treatment project going on. That's $18.5 million. We have the water program that's going on, the water upgrades, that's 27 million. That includes new water meters. So everybody that lives in town is gonna be getting a new water meter within the next 6 months. You'll be able to look on your phone, have a smart application on your phone so you can see your water usage. It'll let you know if you have a break in your water system. And we're gonna be switching to a monthly billing. And it's gonna be so much better than what we have currently. On top of that, we have a lot of grants that we have applied for. We're looking to do in the future West Erie Street from Superior all the way to Albion, Clark Street. So slowly but surely, we are getting there, but it is going to be a long road getting there. So the biggest projects we have going right now, sanitary line replacement on Berrien and Burr Oak. While we're doing this, the water main in there, we found that the sanitary line was really bad. Really bad. So, Monday night, I get to go in front of the council, and it's been a running joke that every time I get up in front of the council, it's never free. I'm always got my hand out, which is true, but someday I might be able to come up there without asking for more money. Other than that, I'll take any questions that you may have on anything, because there's so many topics. I could be here for an hour talking about things, so.
The dam?
The dam. What would you like to know about the dams?
Whatever you can tell us.
So, that's not coming out of our general fund. So, this is all through grants. That won't start until at least 27, 28, somewhere around there. And we're still getting all of the geological surveys done, all of the habitat surveys done, because it's going to affect some of the property owners. It's also going to affect the wildlife too. And so we're just going through the planning phases. One of the things we are looking at doing is the mill race going along Linden Avenue. We're looking to eliminate that, because we put that in, Mother Nature didn't. That will be huge, because as it stands right now, if I was to go and try to fix Linden Avenue the way it is, being so narrow and right next to the river, the council would kick me out of that council meeting with a big no. Yeah. So that's one of the areas they're looking to get rid of. Also, the spillway will come over, and the big pavilion at Victory Park has to get moved. One of the things we're kind of toying around with is that is such a big pavilion that it never gets fully used to its full potential. So why not split it up into two different pavilions that are a little bit smaller, like half the size, and then put it over somewhere else in Victory Park, and then maybe stick the other half somewhere in another place in town. So we're still in a lot of the planning phases with it. But the state of Michigan is really pushing hard to put a lot of these rivers back to the way they were originally before we messed with them. So I hope that answered your question.
Thank you.
Yes. Come on, you guys have to have some questions.
I want to thank Jason. I was in charge of the Kalamazoo River cleanup, and Jason stepped up big time. We were trying to clean up by the pedestrian bridge out there close to Holland Park. We couldn't even get into it because there were so many trees grew up there. Under the pedestrian bridge, which is an old railroad bridge, there were hundreds of trees stuck against it, which was undercutting the ground. These supports were staying there. Public Works came out, helped us clear the track, open it up for us, so we could then take all those logs out. And thank you very much, Jason.
You're welcome. It's our privilege.
Can you summarize that? Because nobody out on the street watching what you're.
The biggest thing was we helped the river cleanup project by opening up the river so they could then take some of the logs out. We used some of our new equipment that we have to not only clear it out, but also to pull the logs out of the river. And so we worked hand in hand with the volunteers, and it was a phenomenal project. It really was. With that, with trees, I want to bring this up. You're going to see us cutting down a lot of trees in the right-of-way, especially the big old ones. I love trees. Please don't think I hate trees. But our forefathers did not take into account these huge oak trees and maples have such an invasive root system. I'll give you an example. We had to replace the entire sanitary line on Ash Street that had to come out of the city's pockets. It wasn't covered by a grant. That's well over $70,000, and it was just because of trees along Ash Street. That entire sanitary line was completely, a lot of the lines are vitrified clay. There's 3-foot sections of clay that were laid down in either 1909, 1929, and they break apart, and the trees absolutely love to be fertilized by us. And so that's why they're so big, is because they're getting fed so well. And so that, just to replace that line was $70,000. Burr Oak Street, an example, is going to be $600,000. Berrien Street is $500,000. So these trees, while they're beautiful, I love trees, we're going to be taking a lot of the big ones down in the right-of-way because they are just costing us so much money. Besides the underground infrastructure, the streets, if you go out in the county, you'll see that most county roadways, especially the M routes, MDOT and the state has cleared a lot of the trees away, because what happens is it never gets to dry out. It never sees the sun. And the root systems then get underneath and then start popping the asphalt or the concrete. If you go through our city, and don't get me wrong, I know there's roads you go down, you can't tell the difference where a tree was or not. But you'll look at the potholes and how severe they are. I'll guarantee you, you go through an area that's got a big, huge tree right next to it, it'll have the worst set of potholes, and the sidewalk will be gone right next to it or popped up. We've even had it where the sidewalk goes around, and so they are just costing us. So you're going to see a lot of these trees come down. We plan on replacing them with ornamental style trees like dogwoods or smaller ones with root systems. So just so you know, we don't hate trees.
I had an arborist, I live on a Maynard Drive, I had an arborist come and I had 3 maples that were problematic, and I'm the one that paid to take them down. However, we have a group that plants trees, but they planted the maples. So is there a way of connecting with the Albion tree planting group?
We have.
To suggest?
Yep, we already have. We
Well,
actually,
I got maples anyway.
yes, we already have. In fact, the last, when we just did the community event on Saturday, they had planted some dogwoods that we had got from the tree committee. So,
Can you talk a little bit about taking down houses that are unoccupied and derelict and looking like they're gonna fall over any day now?
so yes, how it works is if the building inspector from Safe Built, that's who we contract with currently, if they come in and they say that that building is unsafe to enter, we can then take it down, and a lot of times if they catch fire, they have they have a fire escrow account where the insurance company will put money aside to tear that down, so it doesn't cost the city money to do so. As long as I get that letter, and if they have insurance money, we can take it down, and I don't have to go through a lot of hoops. If I don't have that letter, and that letter is key, I have to get everything abated, which means I have to get any asbestos taken care of, any lead paint, I have to deal with all of that. And if it goes to the land bank, if I don't pay my taxes, I have a house in town and it's dilapidated, I don't pay my taxes after 3 years, goes to the treasurer's office, then it goes to the land bank. The city doesn't get it until it's way down the road. If we, the city, pay to take that house down, it's 100% out of our pocket, the cost. And the average cost is anywhere from $15,000 to $18,000. Sometimes it's cheaper, sometimes it's more. The land bank does not give us that money back. But if it catches fire, or if it's so bad and the building inspector says, we can't enter it, I can take it down, and sometimes I can put it back on tax roll. So there's a lot of factors to it. There are many houses that need to come down. There-
One particular on North Marion Street is still standing, that's stuck in probate court. So that is a house that needed to come down the day after, however, there was no insurance on it, and we found out it was a probate court, so then now that house is just another.
Like a screeching halt, it has come to a screeching halt. And it's unfortunate, it looks horrible. We're gonna have a brand new road through Berrien, and with a burned out house. It's just, and so we're trying to take them down slowly. The last couple that we've taken down, we've had a developer come in and put new houses back up. And then the other thing we're trying to do proactively with some of these abandoned properties is when we're rebuilding the road, to run the utilities into the right of way by the sidewalk, so we don't have, if they ever do anything with it, it's all right there in the grass instead of having to cut into the new road. So,
What's being done to Main Street?
right now, so what they're doing is they're putting new sand in, and then they're putting a new sealant over top of it. And that's all through this, being done by the state. And then after this week, they're gonna be doing north of Michigan Avenue, they're gonna do that set of bricks next week. So this Friday, it's supposed to open up downtown. Ladies first.
On our announcement of this, there was a mention of Watson Street housing. I don't know anything about that. Oh, sorry.
I can answer that. Before I get into that. So my first introduction to Albion was when I was in 8th grade. My brother attended and graduated from Albion College in 1975. And I'm 4 years younger, so I was a senior in high school when he was a senior in college here. And I remember Albion College, and I have an advantage as an interim city manager, because I go back 54 years ago, I can tell you what Albion was like. Many of you remember what Albion was like. We had a balanced economic structure here. We had a good balance of manufacturing, we had the college, we had other employers and the small businesses, which really blended well together to help make Albion thrive. Well, what happened? We lost a major component of that economy. We lost a lot of manufacturing. Our malleable plants, our iron making, and we never really recovered from that. So what do we need to do? And I want to point out to my colleague, Bruce Nelson, who has stepped up to the plate at the Economic Development Corporation, has done an excellent job of trying to redevelop that component of our economy. It is not at all secret that the Blue Oval facility in Marshall, Michigan will help Albion. It'll help us by people needing housing, those employees there, and it will also help in our manufacturing being able to supply that Blue Oval facility and the suppliers associated with that facility. So when we're talking about housing, we need to create a workforce. We already know that because COVID, it set back this country's housing stock by a couple of years. It used to be that you could build pre-COVID a nice home for about $200 a square foot, maybe $150. Today, the minimum price on a really nice home is $300 a square foot. It's that simple. So if you build a retirement home at 1,000 square feet, you're going to be prepared to pay $300,000 same time, we're working on trying to make affordable. So we're repurposing a lot of these properties that have sat vacant for a number of years. And Bruce has done an excellent job of identifying some of those properties. And I want to come back to Watson Street. Watson Street, right across from the former high school, the School of Opportunity, is Watson Street, as you know, and opposite of the high school is a vacant strip of property. And one of the concepts is to put a housing development of single-family homes along that street. We are working with a developer on that. It's a great concept. We still have a lot of details to work out and to make it affordable. But we're up to that challenge. Going another progressive way is bringing back our economy, is by redeveloping, and not redeveloping, but developing a new industrial park off Michigan Avenue, just east of Clark Street. And pretty soon, by this time next year, you will see a brand new water tower, a 1 million gallon water tower that will help complement the infrastructure. Remember, we're talking about, that's where you get your water pressure, is by gravity, waterfalls, and we try to maintain 60 pounds per square inch when it comes into your home. So we'll have the water tower on Superior, and then another one up just off of Michigan Avenue, just off of Clark Street, near the Haas property. What that will do is that will give us plenty of fire flow, but it will also act in providing plenty of water capacity for new manufacturing that we're going to try to develop off of Michigan Avenue. We have the state of Michigan coming in about a week and a half. They will be looking at us as a possible contender for a major grant that would come in and help us develop that for manufacturing. We're pretty excited about it. We want to give the Economic Development Corporation kudos for all of their efforts. We think that they've done an excellent job. So I just wanted to bring that. We need to bring and diversify our economy so that we can still provide the services and bring and have the renaissance that we're trying to achieve with the city of Albion. I don't want to leave Aaron out because, again, one of the things that I was able to do, and you know, being an interim, the one thing is you can be a risk taker. You don't have to worry about getting fired. I don't worry about getting fired. So I can reach out a little bit and take some chances. And one of the things, like I said in the beginning, was I have an eye for talent. These two gentlemen here are part of that. And so, Aaron, I want to introduce you. Come on up and just really welcome his philosophy, because I think his philosophy is what's needed in law enforcement today. And I think he amplifies that philosophy that we all desire. So, Aaron, why don't you go ahead and talk to us about public safety and what you're doing there.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Ms. Davis, thank you for the invite. I did give a handout. I'll get to that shortly. I just want to touch base on our department. So we do have police and fire responsibility. So we are a public safety department, which is kind of pretty more common in Michigan than other places. Kalamazoo is the largest public safety department in the country. Then you have Emmett Township outside of Battle Creek, us. Then you go to Blackman Township in Jackson, and then there's a lot of departments on the east side as well still. So top to bottom, our department has 20 people, which includes one non-sworn executive assistant. So right now we have 17 officers on our department, so we have 2 openings. One of those officers is currently in the police academy at Kellogg Community College. So when I graduated in 2007, when I was applying for a job back then, there was really a very shortage of police jobs. I remember applying to St. Clair County, for example. There was 100 people who applied for 2 positions. I tested, I got fortunate enough to get an interview out of 20, and then that's where that stayed, because everybody who was ahead of me had ample experience. MSP just laid off 2 classes. So but move forward to today, in our last hiring phase, we had 4 openings and we got 8 applications. So things have certainly changed a lot. We ended up hiring 2. One ended up being Chief Kip's son, who came to us from Eaton Rapids, and another gentleman from Marengo. So things have certainly changed a lot. They've changed a lot since Jason started. And one of the things, so being in this position, no way did I think this was going to come this soon. So when I got hired in 2016, I knew there was a huge gap. We had Chief Kip, Deputy Chief Kern, we had Deputy Chief Johnson, we had Lieutenant Klasa, but then there was this huge gap, arguably like 15 years. And I knew one day everybody was going to retire. I just didn't know I was going to wake up and find out about it one morning at the same time. So when Chief Kip retired, and then I looked at Jason, he said, not it. So I knew he was going to retire too, and then the opportunity he's in now was certainly on the table. So then I got the short straw. No, everybody pointed the finger at me. So I wanted to thank Doug for that opportunity, even though it came a lot sooner than you would typically see in a department. I do love that I am from here. A lot of people ask, am I Kent or Craig's son? I am Kent's son, if anybody was wondering. That is my Aunt Karen in the back. So when I graduated, coming to Albion, I thought maybe being a police officer in your hometown, I thought that would have been a terrible idea. And then as I got older, I realized all those relationships I've built up to that point, that's actually what you need to be successful as a police officer, because you just have to solve problems. And having all those connections already, I found out I should have done that way sooner. I've just come back here when I graduated. So our department is looking very good right now. We have about five people, if you include Sheridan Township, where our officers are living. 4 people live in the city, 1 live in Sheridan Township, which is pretty awesome, because I want people to live here. I want people to live close. Contractually, they do have to live in a certain distance because we are a fire department. They do have to be able to respond back for calls. And then we have 4 people who are from Albion that now work in our department. So those are people who were born and raised here, know the city well, just as like I do, and can really be effective here. So when I was talking to Ms. Davis, she asked if there's anything I could present on. And so then I asked who the group would be, and then I saw the number, or the age 55 and older. And immediately I think of, okay, so this is a group that our department sees is constantly targeted for fraud. Fraud is a huge, huge thing, and it is taking place in many fashions. So last year we had 42 reported frauds. This year to date we have 24. So that's just what's reported. I know there's way more out there. It's just like any other crime. We can only count the ones that are reported that we know about. So I wanted to just touch base briefly about that, because we are seeing some very unique ways that people are being defrauded or tricked or scammed. And I've seen it as low as $50 and as high as $100,000 that people have lost in the community through people who have taken advantage of them and manipulated them so badly. So I just wanted to share a brief things with you. But the main thing I really want to touch base on is the one thing you will see commonly with all of them is a sense of urgency. People will call, they'll text, they'll email, and they will present this sense of urgency to you that you have to act now, that there's no time to think. If you don't do it now, bad things are going to happen and there's going to be consequences. So I always tell people, if you get a phone call and you don't recognize the number, if it's important, they'll leave a voicemail. If you don't feel comfortable answering it, don't answer it. If you get a text message from a number you don't recognize and it has a link, they'll leave their name. They can explain what if it's important, they will explain it. So try to stay away from, be cautious of anything that brings a sudden urgency. We've had people get called and say that, their grandson is locked up in jail and they need to get bond out. Or somebody else, they'll pretend to be a bank and they're going to tell you that they found out your vehicle, there's another lien on your vehicle and they need your information to prove that it's actually yours. So then they end up getting people to give up their social security number, their bank account information, and even though it's a complete scam, and then they go and utilize that. Or they'll send you phishing emails that have a link that then now they can download a virus into your computer, then obtain all your personal information from your computer. And then after they've gathered that information, they'll call you and they will give you information that does make sense to you, that may make it seem legit. However, in the end, they're just trying to get you to buy gift cards. A huge thing is buying gift cards. Cryptocurrency, gold and silver has been a big one lately. I've had people go to Grand Rapids, buy blocks of gold, and this has happened everywhere in the state, really a lot in Illinois. But if you're ever cautious, just remind yourself there is no urgency. If it's that important, it can wait. And if it's that important, somebody's probably going to come to your house, or you're going to get an official letter from your bank, from Social Security, from whomever it may be. So I just wanted to provide you all just with a list, just to read over. You can take home. If you need more, I certainly can email it to anybody. But also, if you don't know, call us. Call 911. Now, I know a thing I am learning is a lot of people don't like calling 911 because they feel it's for emergency only. And I want to tell everybody it is not. You can call 911 and simply say, this is a non-emergent call, and this is what I have, and they will take all your information and they will dispatch an officer. Don't feel silly, don't feel stupid. You're not going to know until you know. So.
Who got called from the IRS? Who's been called from the IRS that you owe back taxes? Or who got the phone call that one of your loved ones is in jail? Huh? Yeah.
No, mine was I was gonna be arrested.
Yes.
I had an outstanding warrant.
Yes.
They called public safety one time. That same thing. One of the officers answered the phone and said, "You have a warrant for your arrest. You need to send some money." Really?
No, but I did call the police department. to
Yep.
say, what is this?
Yes.
The newest one is sending out letters or calling you, telling you, or a letter saying that your car was, you had unpaid fines going through a toll booth
Yes.
out of state, and that they're going to contact the Michigan DMV. First of all, it's not called DMV in Michigan. It's Secretary of State or SOS. So the minute you hear DMV and it's Michigan, fraud. Don't even worry about it. And if you haven't traveled in that state,
Then you know.
very good chance it wasn't you. So.
But these frauds that we come across, they sound, just reading the complaints or investigating them is so exhausting. To me, it's like, I'd rather go get a job and work 8 hours a day because it's just that exhausting. I could not put together this type of scam, think about it, and then act on it because it's just too much work to me. But that is one thing that we are seeing that is trending upward. And the more information that gets out there, the more businesses and credit card companies that get hacked and your personal information gets leaked. Mine's been leaked before. Your credit card company will send you an email or a letter, official letter stating, hey, these are steps you can take to prevent any damage or any potential fraud. But our information, unfortunately, is everywhere, and people are getting smarter about how to obtain it.
I've had a couple of fishing expeditions. I guess they say, hey there, you have time to talk?
Mm-hmm.
So I know that I don't want to do that, but if I'm there, if I even touch it in any way, I feel like they're going to grab something from me.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't, so I'm free and
just to repeat it, there's a question about emails, and if you open it up and read it, is it enough to, perhaps download a virus? Opening it up could be, but sometimes it'll have a link inside the email that they want you to click on, and then once you click on that link, then it can download a virus to your computer. So it could go either way, but most of the time I see it where there's a link inside the email. So a lot of times, though, if it's an email, you get an email. So a lot of the times, it's not, the letters they're all lowercase. It doesn't look like something any of us would write. Or the letters won't be the same style. There'll be certain letters that are underlined. There's all kinds of flags you can see in some of these emails where this just looks completely fake. And any of those red flags, you just delete it right away. Yes?
One of the things that older adults have is diminished eyesight.
Mm-hmm.
And so just, most computers, they have a small stuff.
Yep.
And it's so easy not even to see it.
Yep, even my friends make fun of me for my font on my text size. So if you can increase the font on your computer or your phone, there is ways to do that, and that can also help with that. Yes.
This week I received a letter from a company that said they were a Alliance insurance company, a life insurance company, saying that they had their data break. And would I be interested in so many months of free service to
Yes.
investigate?
Yep, yes. So I also touched that on that letter, if you've seen it towards the back, where somebody will sell a service to you, a promotion, and it's free at first. We just need your information. And then in the fine print, it tells you that you're going to be automatically billed once that promotion ends, or they're just going to take your information and use it in another place anyway. But yes, if it's something you don't have any history of utilizing ever, you wouldn't even blink at it.
So if I were to call 911 or the police department and say, look, I've had it with these toll road text messages that we get all the time, what do you guys do about that?
So there's not a whole lot that we can do other than have you try to block the number, or just maybe if you can contact your cell phone provider or whomever, if it's AT&T, Sprint, or Verizon, and see if there is anything that they have, a service that they provide that will help eliminate those. Because now, we used to always get spam calls and it'd give the number in the state, and now a lot of times when we get spam calls, my cell phone will literally tell me this is a spam risk, and I'll just ignore it. So those updates, a lot of the cell phone companies do have those now, and they're getting better at it, but I would start with your provider to see what kind of service or what they can offer you to help flag those calls and those text messages so that you don't even receive them. Yes.
I know a woman that had her phone stolen right out of her purse when she was out shopping.
Yes.
And she looked around for an hour or so in the store, and by that time, they went back to the phone, got all her information, money and everything.
Yes. So there are, and I want to really stress how advanced some of these are. So we've had a fraud in town where people mimicked Blue Ox's telephone number. So they got to mimic that. They called a person who had a Blue Ox account. They got her caller ID to mimic that it was coming from Blue Ox, and then they talked her into giving up some of her information, and then that group ended up getting into her account and stealing a lot of money from her. So even, again, this just sounds so exhausting to me, but there are still people that can mimic your bank number. They can mimic it on your caller ID to say Blue Ox, to say Huntington, to say Homestead. And so it's best, if you don't know at that time, just hang up and then just call the bank directly yourself and say, hey, I just received a call from you. I just want to make sure that this is legit because the person I talked to said my account is jeopardized and I need to take action now. And more times than not, once you call the number that you know that you've called before and utilized before because that's your bank, and then that person could tell you, no, we never called you, your bank's fine, there's nothing wrong with your account. So again, though, it's that sense of urgency they create that you got to solve it now.
Any other questions for us?
I have a question maybe off topic, but does Albion have a population of non-documented residents that might be vulnerable to ICE?
No. I have no, Star Commonwealth has certainly participated in some things, but that's nothing that ICE would get involved in. That was through the government. But no, and the whole idea of a sanctuary city, if you will, it's kind of it's a false sense of security. Our department, most departments, actually all, they're not just going to go around and ask anybody just their status just alone. I mean, for any police department across Michigan to actually go out with a federal agency and work with them, there has to be a known risk. There is somebody who has a felony, and it's a very serious felony. Otherwise, you're not going to have an officer who's just going to could literally risk their job, risk a lawsuit over a what if or a maybe, or I don't know any officers who are going to go out of their way and even do that and jeopardize their own career by just
We wouldn't
doing something
allow that.
hypothetical. Yeah.
We don't share in that philosophy.
Yeah.
We don't allow that. We are a community of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we will respect that.
What's worrisome is the Supreme Court apparently just
Yeah.
allowed stopping because of speaking Spanish or color of skin.
So even like Albion College, you have students here who in their dorm rooms, they have an expectation of privacy. We just can't go in the dorm room on some hunch or just because we want to. There is an expectation of privacy those students have in those buildings and in their rooms. So we need some serious probable cause and reasoning to act if we were to go in a school building.
So the old adage is, you can't fight City Hall. We don't believe in that philosophy. City Hall doesn't want a fight. We want to be welcoming to all of our citizens. So at any time, if you have a complaint, if you have a concern, if you have a question, or even a comment, we welcome that input. We're all working to make Albion a better place. So we would hope that you would never hesitate reaching out to our council people or to the city staff. I mean, that's what we're here for. And we're going to continue employing those standards, so.
Yeah, one last question, and it's about pedestrians. I watched parents and little kids try to get across to Eaton from the buses that stop, and it was terrifying to watch, and I'm just wondering, isn't there any way to have some kind of a pedestrian light on Eaton Street anywhere,
So Eaton Street, particularly by Beamer, if you've seen, there's a Dairy Queen going in to where Burger King used to be. So you have a lot of driveways there that are competing to go north and south on both sides of the roads. So recently we've been talking about, are we going to have to put in a light at Beamer because the majority of our accidents in town do happen at that intersection. However, though, yes, further down, when you have parents and students crossing Eaton Street trying to get to their bus, it is very hard. So, and that is one ticket. So all the buses in Marshall have a camera. And then when they deploy their stop sign, it is recording any cars that potentially cost. Oh, they're walking across to the parking lot? Yep.
that's what was terrible.
Yep, I see what you're saying. So yes, that's something we could talk, because I certainly do talk to their transportation director for Marshall Public Schools and even for Concord. So yes, that's something we can all absolutely talk to them about to see what issues they're seeing and what risks do they want to try to mitigate.
Yeah, because the kids started to run, these are elementary,
Oh, yeah.
kids started to run and their mom pulled them back.
Oh yeah, they were on.
I mean, it was.
It happens out here still. Everybody just down on their cell phone, just crossing the street.
Any other questions for us? So Washington Gardner, as you know, and as of recent time, Albion College, after it closed, acquired that building, and they've done an excellent job of keeping it up. What will end up happening is this organization called Community Housing Network. They're a nonprofit organization, and it's not a well-kept secret that across the country, across the state of Michigan, we've seen decreased enrollment of schools. Now, you have to remember, a lot of our school infrastructure was built around us baby boomers. And so, with decreased enrollment, a lot of buildings have been vacated. Albion College did a wonderful thing in helping maintain Washington Gardner. So this company, Community Housing Network, finally acquired the building as of late. They're working on it. And it will be turned into what we call mixed income level of 51 housing units, not 62, but 51 housing units, affordable. And so that is a great repurpose for that building. I know that the council somewhat struggled, not so much with the concept, we struggled with what we call a pilot, payment in lieu of taxes with Community Housing Network. And so we finally have that straightened around. They're working on finalizing the paperwork right now on the sale of that, and they will hopefully yet this winter start working on revamping that for mixed income housing. So we do have a housing issue all across the state, and so Albion is trying to repurpose those buildings for that purpose.
Some stipulations applied so that some parts of the building will be community available?
Yes, there will be a community meeting room, there will be laundry facilities, and I think that's...
Workshops, maybe.
Yeah, workshop area. So,
Yeah, they actually can't touch the auditorium. It has to stay as is.
yes. That's all.
We want to say thank you.
Yes, this has been very informative. If you have additional questions on a personal level, I'm sure the gentleman can stay a few more minutes after we adjourn. Well, I just want to mention the winter assembly will be on January 15th, and the spring assembly will be on April 9th. Thank you to the gentleman. When you turn 55, you can feel free to join us. So, okay, yes, on April 9th is the spring assembly. We don't have a specific commitment yet. If you have an idea of someone you would like to hear or see, let me know and we can get in contact with them. And we have a few months to work with, but we can get in contact with them. And as I was sitting there, we were talking about when Jason comes to the podium or when he walks into one of the offices, money is involved. And we just received our agenda for Monday night because Monday night is the next meeting. And on the agenda, we have approved $500,000 for Berrien Street sanitary sewer replacement and $600,000 so that's an example, right, Jason? But we're doing good work. Thank you very much for your efforts. Okay, but yes, come out to the council meetings. The council meetings are very productive, they're very organized, and we get work done. So come out to the council meetings. I know we come when the pilot came up. You know, we saw a lot of people talking about the pilot or who the residents are going to be at Washington Gardner. But we want your input all along, you know, for all of the decisions. I have one announcement, and that is regarding the NAACP Freedom Fund banquet is going to be on October 25th. And if you're interested in attending, it will be here at Baldwin Hall. The fierce urgency of now is the theme, and the tickets are a donation of $45. So if you're interested, I have tickets for that particular event. Yes. Please, come to the, and anyone else who would like to make an announcement, please come to the microphone.
I not only invite you, but I encourage you to show up at Riverside Cemetery this evening at 6 o'clock. It's a 9/11 salute, something that started in Grand Rapids the year after 9/11 attack. It's been going on every year. There they do it for 24 hours. What it involves is starting out with the scouts, lining up 2 by 2. They stand in front of the American flag and they hold a salute for 1 minute. Then the next group comes up. And it's sponsored by the Scout program, but it's encouraged and open to everyone to show up to honor those who were lost in 9/11 during the attack in New York. So it's a moving thing. There'll be a speaker ahead of time, and then the opportunity for the Scouts to do the salutes, and an opportunity for all of us to also step up and show our honor in memory. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's Riverside Cemetery, correct? Yes. Okay. Yes.
I just want to say that I'm doing another movie series at the Bohm Theater, and you'll notice in the assembly notes here, the movies are all Judi Dench movies. She's now 90 years old. I'm really looking forward to presenting these. The first one is Red Joan, and then there's the exotic Marigold Hotel, and then there's Philomena. The 3 great movies. But the fourth one is a documentary about Judi Dench's ancestry. And there are some, it was from the Who Do You Think You Are TV program. And she was interviewed, and they discovered a number of things that are absolutely amazing, and she knew nothing about this. So I want to encourage you to come to the Bohm Theater and see some good movies and sort of honor Judi Dench for a career of magnificence. So thank you.
Thank you. Are there other announcements? Okay, we're hearing none. We're going to adjourn for today. I want to say thank you again to our presenters. Thank you for coming. And if you have ideas for speakers or for assembly presenters, please let us know and we will follow up. Thank you and have a good day. And thank you to our food committee.